Hi world, it's me. I'm drinking Angry Orchard. Why could I not pronounce it for a minute? Probably because I already drank a little bit. I only have one drink, but I don't know, I'm a little nervous for some reason. But it's 8%, and this is what I'm drinking. I don't know, I just do drink with me sometimes because sometimes nobody wants to hang out while I'm drinking, so then I just drink by myself, which is fine. But like, I like to talk when I drink, so this is kind of my outlet. I just like to talk when I drink, because I don't know what to do. But my life's been going good. My friend made me these earrings. They're little axes she got from Hobby Lobby, and she just put the little jewelry part on so it goes in my ear, because I said I wanted these, so she got them. And then she also made me this cross necklace out of beads and the little cross thingy that she got. So cute. And also I lightened my hair to a light brown or dark brown instead of black, because honestly I feel like me dyeing my hair has kept me from growing it out, because I want it like down to my knees. And not only that, in Hawaii my hair used to be like a gold color because I'd be in the sun all the time, and I've been in the sun all the time this summer, and like when my hair dye started coming out, like it started turning like the gold color again, and I was like, you know what, I just want it natural so it can, you know, turn gold over the next few years, and I could just have it long gold with a tan. That sounds great. And then also I lost like 10 pounds, so that's good news. I've been getting these weird headaches, so I've been trying to kind of, you know, work on my diet a little bit, and I've also been like running more at the gym again. I'm not too worried about the gym as much as I am about my dieting, because, you know, I was going to the gym a lot there for a minute and I still didn't lose any weight. The only reason is because I'd be eating a lot. So today I only ate a little bit, and I've honestly been just drinking calories all day. I'm not saying that I'm healthy or anything, but that's just how today went. Like, I had a cookie this morning, a protein bar, and a little bit of like rice and veggies and crab. That's what I ate. It wasn't a lot either. It was only like this much. But I did eat a lot yesterday, so I think that's kind of why I'm not hungry today. But I had a Starbucks venti coffee. I had oat milk shake and espresso with, you know, blonde espresso with whip on it. And then I had a White Claw this size, which is like 160 calories. And then I had this Angry Orchard, which is, how many calories is it? Probably like 260, 360, I don't know, something. It doesn't say, but whatever, it's probably a lot, because this one has sugar in it. But it also tastes better than the White Claw, so there's that. So I'm not really focused on trying to be skinny. I'm more focused on, you know, I don't know what I'm focused on. Being a little healthier, you know, not eating so much sugary shit, even though I did today. You know, I'm a human being, bitch. Sometimes I want an oatmeal cookie. That's what I had. I had an oatmeal cookie because, bitch, I like me some oatmeal cookies. I don't know. Ever since I worked at the college, those oatmeal cookies be hitting different, let me tell you. And honestly, like, my hair, like, I don't know what kind of hairstyle I'm doing today, but, like, why does it look like that? Like, sometimes, like, I would just be, like, my hair would just be crazy in the morning. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, sometimes I'll wake up and it looks like little rat tails hanging. And I'm like, what is that? Does every curly girl have this problem where it looks like little rat tails? Because, like, I shit you not, like, sometimes it just be looking like little rat tails. I'm like, I gotta have rat tails. Oh, I'm not a rat. Not really. Sometimes. What kind of hairstyle am I supposed to do with his hair? It's not even long enough to do anything to. And also, I want it gold, so I'm going to have to keep it natural if I want it gold, because the gold only comes when I'm in the sun a lot. So if you have curly hair and it's like brown and you can see like a reddish tint in the light, that means it could turn gold. So go out in the sun all summer, get your vitamin D tan, and your hair will turn gold like one of them beach babes. That's how I used to look when I was like 8 years old. I had the gold hair, the tan. I'd be looking good. But now I just got dark brown hair because I just, you know, had black hair from dyeing it, and then I lightened it with chemicals. So that's what I did. But this is, I'm not drinking too much of this. Angry Orchard is one of my favorite ones. Why? Because it tastes good. That's why. It's good. It's 8%. Ooh, 8%. Yeah, I like 8% because honestly, 8% is good. It says crisp imperial. What does that mean? I don't know, but it means I like it and it tastes good. And then I heard one of my managers say nigga the other day. You ain't black. I didn't know you could say nigga like that. With the A, not the hard R. That's the difference. Is if you say it with a hard R, you're racist. But if you say it with an A, you might be able to get, you might be able to get away with it if you rock in that thug line or whatever. I don't know. He's kind of a thug. Like, I don't know if he's been flirting with me, but it really seems like he has. But I kind of don't want to tell him, but I also kind of do. I'm like, is he flirting with me? Because, like, it seems like he's flirting with me. But, like, is he flirting with me? Because, like, he's older than me. He's, like, 45. I'm like, you look good, but you be flirting with everybody, huh? Like, if that's how I think of this man, I think he just be flirting with every pussy he sees. And you know what? That's fine and all, but, I'm your coworker, so I think you need to behave. Like, unless you trying to fuck this, it's time to behave. Like, but if you are, well, bitch, man. Okay, go ahead. That's pretty much it. But yeah. That pretty much is where my life is. And, and everything's fine, but, that's what's been going on. I mean, this man looked at me straight in the face and said sex. Because I was flirting with him, and he was flirting with me, and then he just said sex. And so I know it was on his mind because he accidentally said it. And he was just looking at me and just randomly said it. So, because he says sex, I said, yeah. What else am I gonna say? No? Because I said yeah. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say because, yeah. That's really what be happening in my life. That's how it is sometimes. Sometimes a man just says sex and you say yeah. Even if it's your manager. Oops. Yes, that's my manager. He said sex straight to my face. And I said yeah. So it's consensual. Even if it was an accident, you already know that's what he was thinking about. I mean, nobody is just going to randomly say sex to you at work. Your coworker? That's not an accident. Even if it is an accident, it was an accident for a reason. Because that's what you was thinking about. So clearly, that's the reason is you was thinking about. But that's okay. You think about it, bitch, me too. But that's pretty much where my life is right now. I don't know about everybody else's, but my life's great. I'm just doing weird things at work. And I've been making more friends lately because, honestly, sometimes I just don't want to talk to people because I'm like, who is this person? And I kind of gauge how they act before I talk to them. Because I don't like opening up to just anybody. Like, they need to, be cool enough before I like them enough to talk to them regularly. But I feel like for the most part, I like everybody that I work with. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about it too much just because it is, personal, and anybody can, look at this and, oops, but yeah. But yeah, that's how my life's going. How's your life going? Let me know in the comments if you're drinking. What are you drinking? Vodka? Are you drinking whiskey? I actually like whiskey. So when I tried whiskey for the first time, I was so surprised how sweet and good it tasted because I never tasted anything like that. Because I thought it would be hard, gross liquor like vodka. When I took a shot of whiskey for the first time, no. It's like a sweet taste. I don't even know what they use, but it's good. I would suggest trying whiskey. Because honestly, I never thought, in the country songs they always talk about, oh, I want a bottle of whiskey. Yeah, I know. Look, everybody around here likes country, okay? So that, I don't really listen to country like that, but sometimes when I go out to eat, I'll be listening to that because they're like this. And I want a bottle of whiskey. And I'm like, you know what, bitch, me too. I want a bottle of whiskey too, baby. We ain't that different. Sometimes I don't really like sometimes I don't really like country music, but sometimes I find a country song I really like. And that happened to me one time. I remember I was in my stepdad's car because he was a country boy and he liked country music. And I was like, he's listening to it, and he was like, and then I was like, oh, I like this song, and he was like, I was like, okay. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened. I know, I'm stupid. But imagine me with gold hair, like long gold hair. Bitch, I need that. And that's why I'm trying to grow out my hair and make it long and gold. Is because, you know, first of all, I want to talk about my face. So, I think natural is better. So, there's this guy at work, okay, that I used to work with at the university, who told me that I looked like a boy with lipstick. So, I kind of stopped wearing it as much. Because he said, you know, I looked good without makeup on. That one day I went in without makeup. He's like, you look so good. I was like, you know what? I need to listen to this man. Why? Because he's being honest with me, and honestly, you know, I don't see that I look like a boy, but I guess I kind of see what you mean. Because, I mean, at the time I had short hair, so, you know, it's a little bit longer now, but not, like, too much, especially when it's curly. When it's long, like, when it's straight, you know, it's quite a bit longer, but, like, when it's curly, it's like this. When it's straight, it's like this at least, so, like, 4 or 5 inches longer. That's how curly hair works. But, like, I can't wait till next summer, because next summer is going to be a blonde. Not like an albino blonde, but like a gold, like a light brown blonde. It's going to look good. Especially because, I mean, if God gave you UV rays to lighten your hair, why would you want to use bleach? I don't know. Because it's like, it's not going to damage it. It's just UV rays. Like, what are you going to do with that? I don't know. But yeah, I called a few of my friends, and I made a play date for tomorrow with one of my best friends. And then my other friend, she said she's going to a birthday party, so I couldn't hang out with her. Then my other friend I already hung out with all day today, so... And then last time I went to her house and drank, I threw up everywhere, so that's kind of why she doesn't want me to come over, because she's like, oh my God, because I went out of her house with my panties. You know, my pants were down, because I came out of the bathroom, I was shit myself, and then my pants went down. I threw up all in her sink, and I had kimchi everywhere, and she had to clean it all up when I left, and she's like, oh my God, I don't want that to happen again. I'm like, you know what, I don't either. And I still feel really bad about that. Yeah. Oops. I'm so sorry. Like, I really am. Like, oh. Yeah, because, like, I came out of the bathroom, and my pants were down, but I had my panties up. Thank God. But drunk me was like, oh, I want her to say my panties. I don't know what I was thinking, but... And then I ended up cuddling with her niece because I was drunk. And her niece is, you know, 20-something. I don't know how old she is. I'm 27, so, you know, we're almost, you know, there, same age. So it wasn't weird or anything, and she didn't care. She was like, whatever. And, you know, that's what happened. Because my best friend, she's like 45, so, you know, she's a bit older than me, and that's okay. Like, nobody cares, right? I don't care, because we get along good, you know. I accept her as who she is, and she accepts me as who I am. You know, even though sometimes she thinks I'm a bit of a bitch, and I think she's a bit of a bitch too sometimes. And we've already talked about this. Now, we're all human. We can all be bitches at one point or another, and that's completely fine. You know, when you're, you know, best friends with someone, you hang out with them all the time, sometimes they're going to be a bitch, and that's okay, because everybody's moody, everybody has their days, you know, sometimes they're not going through the things that they want to go through, and then just come off as a bitch, and that's okay. You know, I accept you, my bitch. I accept you, my bitch. But yeah, she's going to run away and be with this guy that she's known for 29 years, and they've been best friends forever, and I'm going to miss her, because I hang out with her all the time. And, you know, when I went to Hobby Lobby, I was just like, with my mom, you know, I was just like about to cry, because I'm like, I always come here with my best friend, and she's leaving me in like a month, and I'm gonna miss her. Yeah, I'm gonna miss her a lot. You know, we hung out a lot for the past few years, and, you know, she used to be an old coworker of mine, and then we, you know, after I quit and had my baby, we just started hanging out, and, you know, from then on, we've pretty much been besties. You know, hanging out and doing whatever. And that's great. You know, I think it's great. I think it's great that you can hang out with someone, be their bestie, and, you know, I don't care if she's older than me, because honestly, I don't think it's weird at all. Like, I think people need to have older friends. Like, I think having an older friend will make you more grounded, you know, as a person. That way you can learn from their mistakes. They can tell you how they live their life and how you shouldn't live your life. You know, you can share experiences, you know, mature a little bit sometimes, or sometimes not, because, you know, just because you're 45 doesn't mean that you're, like, the most mature in the world. I know my best friend, you know, she's not necessarily the most mature in the world, but she definitely is 45. I feel like I'll be that way when I'm 45. I'm still, you know, my teenage self, just in an older body. And that's pretty much how I am at, like, almost 28. I'm turning 28 in the next 2 months. October 31st, Halloween, I'm going to be 28 years old. And, you know, I look good for 28. Everybody always thinks I look younger. And I'm like, you know what? Thank you. But, you know, I just got a real thick body. So I feel like if I was a little thinner, I'd look even younger. Like, for real, I'd be wearing bows in my hair. Like, you know, honestly, I'd be looking young. Like, even when I'm fat, like, I'd be looking younger than 28. Like, people don't really guess 28 half the time. At least a few years younger. Like, 25, 20, 21, 19 sometimes I get. I'm like, 19? Bitch. You know, sometimes people be giving me that compliment. And I'm like, if you thought I was 19, there's a... Well, thanks. But, no, I'm not. I'm not 19, okay? I know I give off a younger vibe. You know, it's not only my personality. I feel like it's also, like, my sense of humor, my mannerisms, and also, like, my fashion, and just, like, my face is, like, not wrinkly. So I feel like that helps. No gray hairs yet, even though I've had a gray hair in my eyebrow when I was, like, 6 years old, and I had a gray hair in my pube when I was, like, 16. It was real weird. And then I also had a beard hair come out once, and I plucked it, and it never came back, thank the Lord. I don't know if I have high testosterone or what, but I'm serious. I really have one, and it was just one. I'm just checking. I'm just checking to make sure I don't got more. Ooh. But yeah, no more. Thank the Lord. But yeah, there's this account that followed me on Instagram. It's a joke account about Epstein. I'm like, first of all, who would make a joke account with Epstein, and why? Because, you know, I mean, he's not, you know, the nicest man in the world. I mean, he did stuff to people that weren't, you know, acceptable socially at all. And I just don't know who would do that. And why would you follow me? And why would you do that? I don't know. But you know what, bitch? I don't know. I just don't know, bitch. Whatever. I don't know. Because I know you got to pay money for the AI, right? So, like, clearly it's an adult, right? Or a teenager with money. Somebody with a responsibility, a job, and, you know, stability enough to get AI videos of Epstein. And I'm like, you know what? I hope that's not the real guy. Because I did make a video talking about Jeffrey Epstein. So what if it's one of his workers? Who knows what this man's up to? I don't know. I thought he was, you know, on TikTok, everybody's always talking about, oh, how he's still alive. And I'm like, you know, I mean, it's possible this man had a lot of money. He could just bribe people and go, hey, I'll give you $1 million bajillion if you shut your ass up. Who's not going to take that? I mean, personally, I don't think I would if I was a cop, but there's a lot of, you know, people that would, because, you know, money is scarce. And this man got billions and billions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, this man got money, so he could just say, hey, I'll give you $1 billion if you shut your ass up. You know what? $1 billion? Like, I'm just saying, like, that's a lot of money. But you helping out somebody who's not so nice, so you really got to think about that. But yeah. So, I'm the kind of person, you know, talking about this kind of stuff online makes me feel vulnerable because it's just like the fact that this man has done things that are pretty unspeakable to the average human slave. And I'm one of them. I'm an average human slave. And, everybody, we're all slaves to somebody. The billionaires. But the most part, we're all slaves to each other. Because we're all working for each other. So that's also something that you have to think about. We're all working for each other. Not necessarily just for these billionaire people, but also for each other. As a society, we're working for each other. Like, for example, if I work in a kitchen, I'm working to make you food as another slave. I'm your slave to make your food, And then if I go to a smoothie shop, you're my slave to make me a smoothie. And I'd hate to say it like that, but that's the gist of what we do, where we're all slaves to each other. So it's not just slaves to the system of the government or whatever. It's a slave to each other. And I feel like, we could even get rid of money if we could just keep doing our jobs the way we're doing it. Like, the slaughterhouse people keep slaughtering pigs, and then the truck drivers keep driving the pig meat to the grocery store, and the grocery store keep doing we'd all not need money, and we could all just give each other stuff for free. And I feel like that would be great. I mean, because we all, we all need to do our part in society, because, there's millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of us, and there's, enough food to go around, at least where I live, and, there doesn't really need to be money, because money gives people too much power, I think, and I think that, the power needs to kind of dissolve, because we're all human beings. Like, we're all slaves to somebody. Even the celebrities, they're slaves to us because they're our form of entertainment. And like I said, I don't like using the word slave. I don't think that they're, anybody's less than me. I'm just saying, like, we're all slaves to somebody. You know what I'm saying? We all got our job to do in society, and we're all slaves to somebody. And in a way, these people, they're rich, but they're all slaves to us because they got to go on talk shows. They got to do this and that and this. And then, be real famous, and then they get angry because everybody hates them or whatever. And then they go, oh, my God, I just want to eat everybody. And then they eat people because they don't, because they get a lot of hate online or something. It kind of makes sense, but it's also really, honestly, I think it's sad that these people would just be okay with eating a human being. Because, we're all human. Every human that I interact with, I care about to some extent. And even the ones that are assholes, I kind of care about you because you're a human being. So to eat a human being, it's just like, unless I had to really do it, I wouldn't want to. Like, and, there's beans and protein sources that are not animal-based or, mammal-based at all, or, even animal-based, like I said, plant-based. We don't have to eat meat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, if we were all, like, vegans or vegetarians, there'd be a lot more plants in the world, which would help our ecosystem, and it would also alleviate any creepers, hopefully. There's always going to be that one guy. There's always going to be that one guy who wants to kill somebody and eat them for some reason. But, the majority, I feel like it would help the environment as well, because, more plants, and plants help us breathe, like the trees. If we plant more fruit trees, we'd be breathing better. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'd be living in a different place. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a girl. I'm drinking, okay? And this is what I talk about, because what do you mean, like, we don't have to eat meat. And honestly, like, processed meat kind of grosses me out. Like, the other day, I was eating, like, processed turkey, and I was like, what if this is people meat? Because, if you look at the people that are in charge, like the billionaires, like Donald Trump and Epstein, in the Epstein files, these people were, or Ellen DeGeneres, they all were known to, like, kind of eat people, at least in the files. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but there's, evidence, even with AI and all that, it's still there, and it's a plausible reality that we could possibly be eating. And other sources, like, Rabbi Finkelstein, this guy said that, people children were getting ground up and turned into sausages. That's what this rabbi said, and he's a Jewish rabbi. And, America is allied with Israel, which is a mainly Jewish place. So the fact that this rabbi knew this, and he's Jewish, and then, we're allied with the Jews, it's very plausible that might be a reality that we're living in unknowingly, necessarily. And I don't think that's okay. Like, I don't want to eat people's children. Like, I don't think that is okay, because first of all, children are beautiful. Like, they're the most innocent creatures in the whole universe. Like, why would you want to do that? And there's plants that can provide us with protein, so there's no need to do that. Like, no need as the human race. Like, we don't need that. Do we want meat? Like, I mean, meat tastes good, but honestly, I don't even really like steak. I like fish, like salmon. Like, I like salmon. Like, that's not a mammal, it comes from the ocean. Salmon, crab, oyster, I like that. But, like, sometimes, like, turkey and, like, even sometimes chicken or pork. I don't like the taste of pork. Ugh. I don't know. It just kind of grosses me out, especially after hearing Rabbi Finkelstein's interview. So, if you want to look at that on YouTube, it's still up, but I believe this man actually died shortly after this interview took place, which is weird. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that's real weird. If you're gonna die after that, it's kind of weird. And who did that? Someone with a lot of money, right? And why would they want to keep that a secret? I mean, like, you got to put into account that the United States government posted the Epstein files, so clearly they don't care if we know. And McDonald's was in the Epstein files. I heard it, because I don't read the Epstein files myself. So I look at, secondhand research such as YouTube videos where they show you screenshots of the files and the evidence and all that. I do that because it's just faster. And I don't like reading all that shit that I don't need to read when other people have already done it and they have all the information. And I'm just like, I feel like if the United States doesn't care that much to just give us all that information anyway, they just might as well just tell us. Because, the revolution never happened. I'm just saying, like, it never happened. So do people really care? If I were to accidentally eat somebody and not know, even if I did know, if that's our way of survival, like, I don't know what I would do. Do I like it? No. Do I think there's better ways to do it? Yes. As a human race, I feel like we're all supposed to care about each other to some extent. And, I don't think I could be happy if I was hurting another person. Because, I think these really rich people are not happy. I think they need to, figure out what that means. And to me, it means caring about another person and trying to be nice. I feel like these people need to learn something from us common people, because us common people care about other people because we're, around them and we have, social interactions that matter. I don't know. And then there was this old lady. I don't know who she was, but she looked like a rich old lady, and she was talking about, like, eating babies. And she's like, the babies we eat, the food we eat. Like, what do you mean the babies we eat? Like, what are you talking about? We? Because that's the question. Like, if these rich people are doing it, and they're in charge, you gotta really put this into perspective. If they're in charge of our food supply, and they're doing that, then what makes you think that, we're not doing that? Even if it's not, known that we're doing that, it doesn't mean that we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Even if they don't tell us we're doing it, it doesn't mean that it's not true. And I'm just saying, like, I feel like since they released the files, they might as well just do everything that they need to do. Like, just tell us. Just tell us in a commercial. You might as well just go all the way. You already did. There's nothing to hide at this point. We're in the information age. You know, there's social media. Everybody is always talking about the Epstein files. They're always talking about, oh, we might be eating people meat. Why? Why though? Is there a reason? Can you explain the reason? Like, and listen to this. I believe I looked at this TikTok that said in Ohio, there's this baby drop-off place where you can drop off your baby in this container and you just never see it again. Where does that go? That's the question. Where is that going? To eat? Because there's also this other guy on TikTok who is like, oh, well, you know, if nobody wants the babies, why can't we just eat them? Well, there's a few reasons, such as Kuru disease, which is a disease that can make you very, very ill and, you know, have very, very awful effects on your brain, because the folded prions in the, you know, if you eat a human brain or like a part of their spine, the folded prions, they affect your brain and make you go crazy. So that's a good reason why to not do that. Among other reasons, such as that is a human being. And I personally think that, you know, there needs to be free health care or something. Because why would you, you know, allow just random people to have babies? If they don't want them, then they should be able to get free health care so that, you know, we wouldn't, you know, even put that as an option. I don't think that that should be an option. I think that that's disgusting. You know, there'd be less people in the world to feed, first of all. Second of all, it's just less gross and less unsafe. Third of all, the poor baby, why? No. I know. That makes me sick. Like, no. I don't think that's okay. Like, as a human being, I think that that's gross. Like, I wouldn't want to do that. Because I care. And that's the reason. That's because I care about other people's lives. I care about babies. They're so sweet and innocent. Like, why would you want to do that? You know? We're not, what's the word? Cavemen who need to do that to survive. You know, we don't. We have, you know, the smarts to be able to farm animals and, you know, chicken eggs and, you know, plants. Fish, like, I know there's, you know, probably not enough of that, which is why lab-grown meat is a thing, and I think that that's okay. You know, I think that lab-grown meat is okay. First of all, no animals were harmed, necessarily. Kinda, you know, to get the cells and all the information, but, you know, kinda, you know, you didn't have to, you know, kill an animal to get that lab-grown meat, you know what I'm saying? Well, kinda. I mean, maybe one, but it'd be a good sacrifice for the people of the earth. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, lab-grown meat, I feel like that's great. Especially if we're running out of food. That's great. The babies thing? No. I don't think that's okay. I think that's unspeakable. Personally, I feel like that is unspeakable. For me. Now, for everybody else who's in charge, I don't know. I don't know what their thoughts are, because it seems like they just don't care. And that's really unfortunate that you cannot care about another human being. And that really makes me sad. Because I feel like, you know, there should be more care in this world. And I feel like we need to give each other free healthcare, free birth control, free everything like that. Because, you know, if we're having babies that we don't want, then we shouldn't be having them for free. It makes sense. You know, there'd be less people to feed, which gives us more resources. And we wouldn't have to do that. We don't have to anyway. I'm just saying, like, you know, if nobody does want to take care of these, you know, children, you know, it's very unfortunate that has to, or that's an option. I don't, there's always somebody out there that wants it. I don't know. If we knew what was going on, like, for sure, like, this is all just stuff I've seen on TikTok and stuff, like, this is all information that I've gathered, and I don't have any resources to back this up, but I've done research, when I first found out about the Epstein files 8 months ago or something. That was my first take to the Epstein files. I had no clue that any of this was happening until then, and then I became obsessed with it and was like, there's no fucking way. And I kept looking it up and looking it up. First of all, what is it? The correlation between the fucking, what is it? The conspiracy theories. Oh, no. Oh, no. If you look into conspiracy theories, and you didn't ever before, and you thought everything was crazy, it's because you didn't truly listen. Once you get the proof, once you listen, it all makes sense. Every fucking thing. And these people, these extremely smart people, the Goyim people is what they call the non-Jews. The Jewish people in the Epstein files, they call us Goyim, which means the non-Jews. Look, I know I might have Jew curls, but I'm not a Jew, okay? I don't want to... Now, I'm not blaming every Jewish person. Like, I don't think this is an every Jewish person thing, necessarily. I have no clue. I really don't. And I'm not going to place this on all the Jewish people, because I don't think it's all of that. I think it's select people. Probably rich people. And I just think that, because the monster can, for example, the Jewish numbers to make the monster symbol is 666. And they're Jewish numbers. There's that. And then there's also other conspiracy theories that I forgot about. I can't truly explain it. You have to look at it yourself. And these extremely smart individual people have gathered this information. They've put it together for us all to look at. And I always thought it was crazy, the Illuminati, what? And I never really truly looked into it. But once you do it, your whole world changes because everything starts to make sense. Like, for example, I was never into celebrities. Ever in my whole life. I never cared about any of them. I didn't know anything about any of them. Until this past year. This past year, as a 27-year-old woman, is the only year that I've actually cared to look into it. And what these celebrities have been saying, what these celebrities have been known to do. And it's really shocking to me, because I had no clue. I'm not into movies a lot. I'm not into celebrities. I had no clue. And these people are being idolized. Why? Because I know quite a bit of you have known that these people have been eating people, such as the Kim Kardashian people, the Kardashians. I saw the snippet where they were, eating a human being. They're like, oh, well, I got human meat, I'm eating it. And, I think a lot of that has to do with online internet bullying, because I don't think they care about other people as much, because, they can't see them, first of all, die, maybe, and they just, don't care, because, they're all bitches on the internet, and I understand that. I've been on the internet, and I get it. People are assholes. But, the internet here, this is the one thing that I think could save us all. The internet. If we just got rid of it, I feel like we'd all be better off, because we'd all be happier. We'd all know how to socialize. I feel like a lot of these people who are really mean to people online, they don't know how to socialize. And they're not happy because they don't have a social life, and they don't have good friends, and they don't have, positive interactions enough to feel, enough care about some other people enough to not be rude and insulting somebody. And I just think that, us as the human race would be better off without that, because first of all, we could all create, more interpersonal relationships, talk to more people, and, gather more, love. I think love is the energy here that we need as the human race. Like, love for a human being, like a baby. So you don't want to eat it? Like, why would you want to do that? Like, I wouldn't want to do that. I would feel gross and disgusting. And that's just me. And it's unhealthy for us, to do that. And that's also another reason. It's not just that. It's also that it's just very, very, it debilitates your brain to do that kind of thing. It really does. It's been scientifically backed up that Kuru disease is because of these folded prions that happens during cannibalism. If you eat the brain or certain parts of the body, the spine, it's not healthy. So, it kind of backs up the theory as to why so many, people have mental illness these days. Might be, they might kind of tie into that. What if that is happening? What if, Rabbi Finkelstein was telling the truth when he said, our meat is made out of, human people. I don't think that's okay. Even if we take these humans from other countries, which might be a thing, because, on TikTok, I saw this video of these very important looking guys in suits looking at a map. And they're like, oh yeah, we're going to take these kids from Thailand. For what? I don't think that's okay. I don't think that's okay. Because they're children. Not only that, they're human beings. Okay? Human beings that even if I don't know them, I do care because they're human. And I love, like, all the people in my life I care about. And if I knew these people, I'm sure I'd care about them too to some extent. As a human being, we all have empathy, whether we believe it or not. Even the crazies, the crazy murderers. I used to have murderous, thoughts, and I've worked on that years and years ago. That's why I understand, this thing that they got going on. It's due to hatred. It's not because, it's a sickness. Hatred is a sickness. And I think a lot of it is due to the internet. Because on the internet you can hide and just say whatever you want. And I don't think that's how human interaction is supposed to be. I don't think people are supposed to hide behind a screen. I think they need to interact with somebody. It's okay to have thoughts that correlate to whatever you just said. I have them sometimes too. But does that mean that I'm going to, type it online? No. Because I care about other people's feelings, and I know that if I were to have that said to me, it would hurt my feelings as a human being. And that's why. But a lot of people don't think like that. A lot of people just go, no, I don't like you. You don't even know this person, especially if it's online. Like, you don't even know this person. You know what I'm saying? And, I'm going to stick up for some of these people, even if they're cannibals. Why? Because I have some level of understanding of the hatred that they've been through because of my past. And no, I never did anything gross. But I want to make this very clear. I did have a lot of thoughts and ideations in the past. Like, it was a long, long time ago for me. But it was still there, and it's still a piece of who I am. That's why a piece of me can understand what these people are going through. And, I do have empathy for these people, even though a lot of people don't. It's because I understand to some extent what the mindset is that you hate these people, whoever these people are. And, you don't know these people, but you think, oh, okay, well, I can eat it because I don't know who it was, I don't care. And that's the mindset of these people. And, some of these people do know them. And that's, honestly, I don't know what to do with that. What I'm saying is, human beings need to work on themselves. Like the people that rule this earth with their money, I want you to think about your feelings. Would you want to be eaten? The answer is no. And that's the truth. Nobody would want to be eaten unless they're really suicidal and sad. And that's not okay either. Everybody needs to try to heal. I've done it. I know that it's a difficult road. I've done it. I know that it's a difficult road. I've been through it, and it took me years and years, and I never did anything bad, okay? But I did have a lot of impulsive things going on, behaviors, thoughts, crazy, weird things that I did to cope with my feelings, and that's okay. And at a certain point in time when I was younger and going through this hatred for people, I did think about, cannibalism. And that's the truth. When I was younger, way, way younger, I did. Why? Because these people were targeting me, they were attacking me, they were stalking me, and I was honestly, quite frankly, tired of that. And, although I did think about it, like, I understand these people to an extent. That's why I'm also here, because a lot of people don't understand that. When you hate somebody that much, there is a level of hatred that goes that far. And that's the truth. Now, it's not just about, killing somebody. It's about, I fucking hate you. And it's that simple. But you have to work past that. You know what I'm saying? For happiness. Not just, because it's morally correct. But for happiness. I don't think I could ever be happy if I did that to somebody. Because it would make their families extremely unhappy. And that's not okay. Because, karma, like the exchange of energy is what I call karma. If they give you their negative energy because you did something awful to their family, it's not going to make you feel good about yourself. And that's just going to make you more miserable. You have to be at peace with yourself. And in order to do that, you have to be a good person and not do awful things. It's that way. And, even though I've been through a lot of trash, I've grown a lot. Even though those years I did want to do bad things, I have grown a lot to the point where I do not ever want to do that. Why? I mean, I might have thought about it and, wanted to do it to some extent, but I never did it, first of all. That's also the difference, is that I never did it. Second of all, is that you have to, love yourself in order to be happy, and you can't love yourself if everybody else in the world is, like, oh my God, you're awful. Hearing that is going to make you feel weird. Not even online. Like, online I get hate, but, and people tell me, I wish you got cancer. Do they really? Probably not. If they knew me, they would not say that ever. That's the gospel truth. And I know this. They're temperamental. They have their issues. And their issues are not my problem. And that's the end of story. And you have to understand that these people online have a lot of issues in their own lives. You're not the only one with issues in your life. They have issues. They have relationship issues, trauma, everything you could think of. They got. And when you took those issues and you put them on yourself because they said something mean, No. Don't do that. Don't think, why would this person say that? Don't even think about it. Say, oh, okay, well, that's not my problem. And that's literally, I used to care about what people thought. When someone would call me a fat fatty, that, they wish I got cancer. It hurt my feelings. I'd cry. But then I started to realize I would never say that to somebody. And that's the truth. I would never say that to somebody. Because I think that's awful. And that makes me a better person, in my eyes, because I care about other people's feelings. And these people, they don't know how to socialize, they don't know how to make friends, they don't know how to do this, and this, and they just don't care about other people's feelings enough. Sometimes caring about feelings just means not talking. And I do that all the time. Sometimes I'll have negative thoughts and I just won't say anything because that's not okay to do. And you just have to think about it like that. Like, if I wouldn't want that said to me, then don't say it. And that's always what I think about when I go online. If I wouldn't want that said to me, then I'm not going to say it. Unless they're like a fucking serial killer. Well, maybe that's different. But I don't know. It just depends on the situation. And, there's a lot of problems when it comes to that. But I'm just saying, like, every human being is very emotional. We're all very emotional. And the people that do these things, they do have their reasons, believe it or not. And, you really got to think. In order to be capable of these acts, these heinous acts or whatever on people, other people, children, babies, human beings. Imagine how they were raised. What if it's a traditional thing? What if their parents did that? What if that's how they were brought up? Because they are rich. Rich people live different lifestyles than we do. Rich people believe that they're gods because they have all the money in the world and they can do whatever they want with no laws because they have the money to bribe us lower goyim people, which is the slave people for the rich people. They have the money to bribe us to be able to do whatever they want. And that's the gospel truth. They can do that because we're weak sometimes. Now me, if I was a police officer, if I got offered $1 billion, if Jeffrey Epstein offered me $1 billion and I was a police officer, I would tell him no. Why? Well, here's the thing. Blackmail is a thing. So if you don't know what blackmail means, it's if somebody threatens you with your life, with your family's life, oh, well, if you don't do this, I'm going to fucking kill all of your family and this, and this. And this guy's rich as fuck. You think you could do that? Because I do. People in other countries, Mexico, Guatemala, whatever, if somebody offered them $1 million to kill somebody, you think they won't do it? Or even America. Whatever country. I'm not just saying all those countries, but I'm just saying every country. You don't think that they would say, okay. Because, I mean, you gotta think, some of these people, they come from, the poor, the ghetto, the fucking, thug life. You think they won't do it? Because there's always somebody that will. And that's the truth. There's always somebody that will do it. Probably. If you can find them. Then that's where the deep web comes in. Now, I've never been on the deep web, but I've heard many stories about the deep web. And I think that's where all those criminals hang out, is the deep web. Even the people who look at that stuff and post it on YouTube and go, oh, I'm the good guy. Are they really? Because they're looking at it all day. You don't think that changes their brain? Because I do. I know when I looked at the Epstein files, it changed my brain in the way that I thought. And I was having more outbursts. Because I was like, there's people doing this shit. And it was just ruining my positivity. And that's not okay. To let this energy into your life, I feel like you really need to be careful. Because energy and God, they go hand in hand. You got to be real careful about what you let into your brain and what you intake. And that's why I'm not really into politics, is because I don't like the negative energy. I like to keep my energy as positive as possible. And even though I'm talking about this stuff, I'm not a political person. Okay? I'm not. Do not ever call me that. I do not wish to be called that. I do not want to be a political person. I don't think that that's even a word that should exist. I think that it just needs to be gone. I think that politics need to be gone. I think the government needs to be gone. Because what do you mean there's people ruling over us? What makes you more powerful than me? Your money. That's literally it. And who created the government? That's the real question. Royalty? Probably. In the past, royalty created the government because, oh, the king and queen exist. Oh, they get to rule. Why? Because they were born into it. Isn't every president related? That's what I heard. Is that a coincidence? I think fucking not. First of all, don't you have to be rich to be the president? That's what I heard. That you have to be rich to be the president? How about we have a commoner as the president? I bet they'd do better than all these rich motherfuckers. I bet they'd have more empathy than all these rich motherfuckers because they live a normal life and not a life where they kill people. And that's the fucking truth. The gospel truth. I think that normal people need to be allowed to be the president. With no money involved. None. Even a homeless man. If he has a good word for the United States, I feel like he should be able to run it. Should we even have a leader? That's the real question. Should we have rules? I think so, to some extent. Yes. Because, with no rules, I feel like I'd be a little scared. If someone could just legally come up and murder me, I'd be scared, yes. I'd be scared. And, there'd be a lot of fear. And that's not okay. Like, to run the world based off of fear is not okay. To base it off of love, I feel like is the best option. Love thy neighbor. Always treat others the way you want to be treated. I feel like that should be the way that every human being runs the whole world, including animals. When you bring an animal to the slaughter, like the slaughterhouse, bro, we're not even gonna get into that. Like the slaughterhouse, oh god, I watched so many slaughterhouse videos just to see how my meat was cultivated. Oh, it's worse than you think. It's way worse. It's just abuse. It's way worse than abuse. It's disgusting. It's beyond disgusting. It's honestly unfathomable. I'm not even going to get into that. They'd be boiling pigs alive. They'd be taking horses with a chain by the neck just for fun. I'm not even joking. It's despicable what these people do. And that's the people that get us our food. Now, that's one thing. That's why I think that plants need to be the future. And, fish, I don't care about, fish as much as I care about a mammal, like a pig, a cow, or a horse, just because it's a fucking fish. Like, he goes like this, under the ocean, goes, ah, ah. Like, yes, I care to some extent, but, I feel bad, but I'm also hungry. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. And I feel like, people should be used to hunting their own food. I feel like we're really desensitized from where our food comes from because we just see it as a steak in the grocery store versus if we had a whole farm full of animals and we actually had to do it ourselves. You know how more grateful we'd be as the human race? You know how much less we would eat as the human race if we could all just share a small piece of meat and just be happy? Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like, if you actually had to kill a cow by yourself, you'd be way more grateful. And you'd share it because it's like, I just fucking did this. And now I'm grossed out and I feel, all kinds of emotions. My kid had to see it. My kid did it. I just feel like that should be a thing. And then they can roam around free and not be in these weird metal cages. Like, at least let them see the sun. At least let them eat some fucking grass on the ground and feel the sun on their fucking face. And not be in a metal cage their whole life. Life needs to be something. and not just a mental cage. That's crazy. Life for every fucking being should be sacred. In my opinion. A baby, a cow, a pig, a chicken, whatever. That's what I think. I don't know. I'm just fucking talking. But yeah, I just have so many thoughts. I gotta stop. I gotta pee. But I'll see y'all in the next one. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I literally just have so many thoughts around this. It's just crazy. And I'm not a political person. I just want you to know that I'm not into politics. I want to talk about this because this is stuff that I just know from researching from that short amount of time that I did, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of doing this and this and this because I don't have any plans on doing anything about it, and a lot of people don't either. And that's the truth. I can talk about it all I want, but what's that going to do? Nothing. And that's the real truth. If nobody's going to do anything about it, then me talking about it is not going to do anything. It's just going to inform people. If they choose to believe me, there's a lot of people in my life that I've talked about this to, and they just think I'm crazy. And that's okay. Think I'm crazy, but at the end of the day, I've got my proof, and if you can't read that, then that's fine. And that's all I got to say, everybody. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you choose love over hatred. And I hope that you guys care about one another, love thy neighbor, and do not choose to harm anybody because of whatever reason. Just forgive them. Forgive them and fucking forget for yourself, not for them. Just do it for yourself and be happy. Love somebody instead of hate. You don't have to love the person that you hate. Just love somebody else. And just don't care about the person you hate. They don't even exist anymore. Whatever. And that's it. That's all I have to say. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys listen to what I said, and I hope you guys do some research if you cared about anything that I said. And I don't even know what I'm talking about on this channel. I'm a little tipsy. But if you choose to believe me, that's of your own accord. And if you choose to do your research, that's also your own decision to make. TikTok is a good place to look at this information. So is, the Department of Justice.gov, DOJ.gov, is the Department of Justice where you can, read the Epstein files if you so wish to do. I personally have only read a little bit, and I choose to get my information from YouTube because it's just faster for me, because that's how I like to learn, is by people telling me something. And, they have pictures, they have articles, they have screenshots, they have their sources. You know what I'm saying? That's where I choose to learn. That's the fastest place to learn is on YouTube. So check that out. There's a lot of channels that talk about it, and I hope you guys have a great day. If you choose not to do anything about it, like me, that's okay. You're one of many, and that's okay. You don't have to be the one to do something about it. Okay? That's not everybody's choice. That's not everybody's path. Every one of us has a different path to take in our lives. And that's the path we choose. And this is the path I choose, is to talk about it because I so wish to do that right now at this moment. And that's okay. I'm not a political person. I do not see myself as somebody who wants to be political, who thinks that politics should even be a word. I don't even think that should be a word in the dictionary. I think that is stupid. And that's my personal take on it. But I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys maybe listen to what I said. And I hope you guys choose love over hatred every day. There's always something to look forward to, whether it be food, whether it be your daughter, whether it be, somebody that you care about, your friends. Love somebody today. Do not hate them. That's the end of the story. I don't want anybody to hate anybody. Just love as much as you can. That's the answer to life and how to be happy is to love. And that's what I've learned in my 27 years of life. And I want you all to learn from that. And I hope you guys treat other people with respect, whether it be online or offline, because who cares if it's online? It doesn't mean these people aren't human beings. If you don't want that said to you, do not say it. That is my advice. The end. And I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys have a good day at work every single day because you love your coworkers. I hope you guys love your friends. I hope you guys love your family. Please, try your best. Just try. Try to love somebody. Try to love your animals. Try to love this, this, and this. Just do it. That's the end of the story. I hope you guys have a great day. And I'm leaving. Goodbye.